Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you're new here, please click on like and subscribe. Take a second to go down below and drop us a comment. Let us know what you think about the video and our page in general. Now for the last several videos I've been burning through smalls, and smalls for me is a tough project. I'd much rather make big stuff than small stuff, but as you can see by the pile of wood I've got to make more small stuff. So I'm making some easy to make small stuff that I know they'll sell, and they're pretty easy to make, and they'll burn through your scrap material pretty quick. So this one we're going to make a little coffee cup holder. So to make this I need 9 pieces that are little slats. So I've pulled out little slats that I've had left over that are 6 inches long, and they're going to be at least 2 inches wide. So I've got those all sitting there. We're going to need a base, which is going to cover the bottom, of course. We're going to need a top, which is going to be a lid. We'll need a set of hinges, and then we'll need a couple of small squares. Now depending on your stock material, the way I've got it drawn out there in my picture, I've got it set for a 2-inch wide board for the side, and then a 2-inch block to bring the front out so you can get your K-cups out of there. I don't have a piece long enough to make my side, so I'm actually going to cut a piece of wood to make that side. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it 4 inches wide, and then I'm going to cut a slot out of there 2 inches wide, and then 2 inches across to make my ledge. So what I'm doing first is just making my slots. So these are my slats, I should say, not slots. These are going to be 2 inches wide, so I'm just going to cut my 9 pieces 2 inches wide, and then we're going to take them over to the chop saw and chop them all off to 6 inches. Again, make this whatever size you want. I just happen to be using 2x6. You can make it a little wider if you need it, a little deeper. Make the changes and make it your own. And every now and then you get lucky. The piece that I've got left over here is 3 inches wide, and it's about 7 inches long, which will be perfect for my top. So that's one less piece I have to cut. Now, again, depending on how you want yours finished, you can leave this rough wood if you wanted to. You can leave them different staggered sizes, different thicknesses. I'm going to go ahead and plane these all down to 1/4 of an inch. That way they're nice and even. That's just the look that I want to do on this particular project. So this is the side I was telling you about. So this is basically, I don't have any pieces that are long enough to make my sides. So I'm going to go over to my wood pile over here, and we're going to cut us off a board that's 10 inches tall. And again, if I was making this out of scraps and I had a long enough piece, I would end up taking that 10-inch piece, then a 2-inch block, as you can see drawn on there, and glue them together. But since I've got to cut it anyhow, I may as well just make it out of one piece. It'll make a more solid project. So this board is about 1 1/4 inch, 1.5 inch thick. What I want to do is I want to cut 11-inch piece, since I'm going to run it through my planer in case I get any chip outs. I've got room to address that. We're going to end up with a 10-inch long piece, 4 inches wide, and I want to make these 1/2 inch thick. So instead of trying to plane the board all the way down, I'm going to put it through my bandsaw and I'm going to split it in half. If I'm a little bit over, a little under 1/2 inch, I'm not really concerned. Again, since it's a scrap wood project, we're just trying to get it, we're trying to use up some wood without wasting anything. So I'm just nipping off the pieces here, and again, we're going to make these 4 inches wide, and that way I can cut off the 2-inch side piece and the 2-inch piece sticking out on the front. And I'm just cleaning up all the edges so I got nice clean cuts when I run it through the saw. Now, not that I've ever done this, but make sure you double check your grain which way it's going before you cut your board down to 4 inches, because it's really easy to spin that around and get it crooked. Especially in this case where the sawmill has lines running left to right, but my grain is actually going the opposite direction. So if you looked at it real quick, you might actually get it wrong and cut your boards the wrong way. Again, they would work, but not going to look like I wanted them to. Don't worry, I don't think anyone will notice that's what I just did. So we take our boards that are cut the correct way and go over to the planer, and we're going to plane these down. Now I just want to plane these till they're smooth. Again, the boards were kind of warped and wonky anyhow, so I'm just going to get them to the point where they're nice and smooth, not really measuring the thickness. Again, if it was a different type of project I needed to be a certain thickness, I would. And as you can see here, I ended up with more defects in the wood. There's a couple dents in the wood where the straps were going across it. So I'm not going to get my full 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch out of splitting it down the middle. So I'm just going to cut it off to the point where I can get about a 1/4 inch strip on one side, and I can use that top piece where my right hand is there for another smalls project. So basically making more smalls out of the smalls project. It doesn't ever seem to end. If you're a woodworker, you probably know that feeling. So back over to the scrap pile, I'm picking my bottom piece out now. So I've got the size of my bottom piece that I want for my project. I've got a piece here that's pretty close. I want the bottom to be ½ inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch thick. I don't want to go to a quarter on it because I want to try to get a brad in it, or I'm going to brad it from the bottom, so I don't want to blow the brads through the wood and not get a good grip on it. But this piece here, of course, as you can see, has a nice little warp to it. Now I only need 6 inches wide on there. So I think I've got enough board here before the warp, because if I look at the end of the board, you can see where the grain pattern actually created the warp on this one. So I can cut off enough of this that I can actually still use 6 inches of this board and use the rest of it as another project. And as you can see, it looks a little bit worse over here at the table saw. But again, we're not going to use it long ways. We're going to cut it in half. And I pushed down one side. I forgot to tape it, but there is one side that fits nice and flat, so I'll be able to use it just fine. I'm going to flip this over this way so I can push down on the board so I get a nice straight cut on it. If I flip it over the other way, it's liable to pop up out of the saw at me, or who knows. I'm not going to get a good clean cut. So now that I got my width cut, I'm going to mark it at 6 inches wide, or long, depending on which way you're looking at it. And I'm going to take it over to the chop saw, and we're going to cut this piece off along with all the slats, or the inserts for the front and the back, whatever you want to call them. Now I'm just cutting the bottom and the slats again at 6 inches. I'm going to be cutting a couple other pieces here in a second. It's kind of hard to see around the stop because I left the stop in place, but the other pieces I'm going to cut are the side pieces. Now again, these are 4 inches wide. I'm going to cut these at 10 inches, and we should have 2 cuts at 10 inches. So I'm setting my bandsaw to 2 inches. What I'm going to do is take my side pieces and run them down 8 inches down from the top, and I'm going to stop with 2 inches left at the bottom, and then we're going to flip it sideways and cut 2 inches inward, and that'll leave our extension out for where the K-cups will drop in. You'll be able to reach in and grab them at. Again, if you're using smaller pieces, you would take these 2-inch strips here and glue the 2-inch blocks to the front of them and end up with the same piece. Something else you can do, if you feel comfortable doing this, you can cut the 2 pieces at the same time. You just have to make sure you don't get kickback from it, or they're lined up perfectly even. But if you do them both at the same time, you'll have the same exact cut on both pieces. So if you screw up one side, technically the other side's still going to match. So that's one way of thinking of it. Now over here we can see our box coming together. So there's our top on, our backs on there, our 2 side pieces are laying on top of our back pieces. And this is what I was telling you earlier with the front piece. If you want it to cover the bottom, you'll need to cut that piece however thick your bottom is. If you want it to look more rustic like that, you can leave it like that, glue it or brad it in place, and have the bottom standing up. Again, entirely up to you. Same with the slots or slats in the front and the back. You could actually leave those with a 1/4 inch gap in between them, or a small gap in between them, or you can tighten them up. I've got mine tight in this case because I'm going to either stencil or laser engrave something on the front of them. And then once I've got my bottom piece there, I'm going to cut one more for the bottom there because I want mine to cover the bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and cut it, measure it, chop it down, and make it fit to where it covers my bottom piece. So that's what mine will end up looking like. Again, set yours to however you want it to look. Make it yours. Once I've got everything the way I want it, we're going to hit it with some sanding. Now again, sand this to whatever level you want. You can make this nice and smooth. You can make it rough, however you want to do it. Now I did keep my pieces separate over there. I'm lining up the best pieces for the back and the front as far as color goes, just to match the pattern that I want. That top left of your screen, or my left hand, that's my bottom piece that covers my bottom. That has to stay where it is because it's cut differently. So I've got this laying face outward now. And I'm going to run a bead of glue about halfway down through here. And I'm just going to start sticking my little slats in place. And we're going to brad nail them down as we go. Now you can glue this. You don't need to brad nail it if you don't want to. You can glue it and clamp it. It's just easier to put it on here, brad nail it in place, and be done. Now let that set for a few minutes just to get tacky. We don't want it to be dry, but we want it tacky because these pieces will slide all over the place on you. And if you want to, you can put them on and let them sit there for a few minutes while they're sitting in place versus just letting the glue get tacky and stick them in place. Whatever works for you. And if you slide it back and forth a little bit, it will stiffen up just a little bit and kind of hold it together while you're shooting the brads in. Now this is also easier when you're not trying to stand in front of a camera. I would normally be leaning over top of it and pop these in a lot faster than it looks like when you're trying to do it on a camera. Once you get them in place, take your brad nailer and pop a couple brads in there, or you can again clamp these down and just let them dry with the glue. Glue will hold it just fine. And just repeat this till your front's finished. Remember to leave your gap for your KCup holder or for your K-cups to fit in there. Don't put them all on the front. Flip it over, do the back side, same thing. Let the glue tack up a little bit. Get your pieces. Once you pop this one in, since we're coming down at an angle anyhow, they'll all just set up against it. Makes the backside doing a lot easier. Make sure you're not overhanging. Make sure you're wiping off all your excess glue as you're going. That way you don't have to clean up later. And since it's a nice finished product, if you're going to oil it or if you're going to shellac it or stain it, it will make a mess. So we're just gluing the bottom on. Put a little bit of glue on the back and pop some brad nails in it. And that'll be it for that part. Flip it over to my front edge here, and again, same thing. A little bit of glue around the edge. Glue your front piece on, brad nails. That part's done. Now I didn't have enough room to get a brad nail in that bottom, so I did put a clamp on there just till it set up and dried. I had a little tiny gap. It wasn't a big gap, but 45 minutes to an hour later, you can pull that clamp off and that gap will be sealed up if you've got a small gap. If it's a big gap, you probably need to address it, but I just had a small piece there I wanted to fix. So it's time to put the lid on now. So I don't do a whole lot of hinge work. So I'm going to mark my hinges here before you make fun of me doing the hinges. I'm just marking the outside edge. I want my hinge screws to hit the 1/2 inch piece of wood on the side, on the bottoms. I can obviously hit the 1/2 inch piece for the top. And the right or the inside screws are going to just fit into the slots or the blanks on the back. Now I've got some smaller screws for those, and we're going to use those when we get to the slots. But we're going to put our hinges on the top piece first, and then put them on the actual project itself second. Once I made my marks for my screws, I'm just going to take a drill. I'm going to pre-drill these so I don't split my wood. If you're doing pine or something like that, it probably won't split on you, but since I'm doing a hardwood, I don't want it to split or blow out on me, and I don't want to strip the screws out. They're not the best screws in the world since they're small. So I'm going to attempt to line this up here the best I can with my fumbly fingers. Once I get it in place, I'm going to just take my drill and run that down until it's tight. Once I get that screw in, we're going to drill the other side out, put that screw in, and then repeat it on the other side. So we're ready to attach the top to the back now. I'm going to put these on here, line it up to where I want it at, so I'm even on both sides, and I'm just going to take a couple clamps and clamp the top to the base, and that way it doesn't slide around me when I put my screws in. You can tape this on if you want to. Since I've got that bottom lip sticking out, I can't really lay it flat on the bench and do it, so I'm just clamping it. It makes it easier for me. Now once I get the outside screws in, again, I've got these smaller screws. They may go through, I don't think they will, but I'm going to run them in slow and make sure I don't blow out the other side. I did pre-drill these. You want to be careful when you're pre-drilling. If you drill in too deep, you're going to blow out the other side. But since this is actually inside the project and you won't really see it, if you did, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. And then I'm just going to put these in by hand. That way if I go through, I can feel it on the inside, or I can back them off a little bit if I need to. And once it's all assembled, do some last minute sanding here. Just touch up anything that needs to be touched up if you want to. And then again, you can throw this in your laser, engrave something on it, Cricut, print something on the front. You can stencil the front, do whatever you want to, or you can just finish it the way it is. I've left mine unfinished for now because I'm going to stencil something on the front or laser engrave it and then finish it. But hope you enjoyed the video. Please click on like and subscribe.